Hello everyone! So I was lucky enough to get a spot in the second beta of Aniimo, and I've got to say I had a genuinely wonderful time with it. The kind of time when you log off and you immediately start thinking about what you're going to do next when you log back in. I thought I'd give a review of my time during those 2 weeks I got to play. The beta has ended now, unfortunately, and do note that this was just the beta, and plenty can change when the game releases later this year. Let's start off with the core of it all, the Aniimo. The main gameplay loop feels really robust. Every catch is meaningful, and I mean that seriously. I never felt like I was wasting time catching something. Even if I grabbed an Aniimo I didn't plan on keeping, releasing them gives you experience crystals, and those crystals help you level up your Aniimo you actually do want on your team, so nothing feels thrown away. Every capture feeds back into progression, and you do want to catch a lot. Each Aniimo has a rating from common to epic, and those ratings relate to the range of the points which they have to distribute amongst the stats. On top of that, the Animo's personality, which is based on the Myers-Briggs system, also affects their combat abilities or how they work in the homeland area. So you're going to end up catching a lot of these creatures when you start farming for the best stat spread. I also highly recommend just experiencing using each of the Aniimo. They all play a little bit differently, and you might find ones that you enjoy using a lot more than you originally thought. They also have different abilities that allow you to navigate the world, from climbing to gliding, as well as things that will allow you to interact with puzzles that are specifically set for those particular Aniimo. Give them all a try, enjoy their personalities, and just see what you like. The actual variety of Aniimo is stunning. There's a huge range already with I think 90 base forms, which don't include their variations, and they're visually very expressive with their animations and their combat. They definitely lean towards the cute and slightly anthropomorphic side of the designs, which I know some people love and some people are less keen on, but here's the good news. Feedback from the first beta has actually clearly been heard. They've already started introducing more quadruped evolutions, which adds some nice diversity in body types and silhouettes. I feel like the dev team is actively responding and adjusting, which is always encouraging to see in a beta phase. And yes, there are shinies. These are nose and sparklings, and you can hunt for them. And there are also darklers, which are dark forms you can get from the egg hunt mode, and I'm getting off topic. There's just so many things that can affect the look of stats and personality of Aniimo. You don't even need to stick with the set form of an Aniimo, since they may come in a variety to pick from. And these are not just reskins, but many have model differences and combat differences too. There are items that you can get in game that allow you to swap forms and even personalities. So if you do manage to catch a perfect one, and you may have seen a form that you like more, you can switch it. This creates a really satisfying loop of explore, catch, decide what you're keeping, and then grow stronger. I was constantly progressing and constantly improving my team, and it never felt grindy in a bad way. The teams are constructed of teams of 4, but you can swap your Aniimo at any time so long as you're not in combat. So never feel like you're trapped with just those 4. They even have team setups so you can always have something that you know you're going to be using lined up. Now let's talk about the actual evolution, because this is where things caught me off guard a bit. Evolving Aniimo is not just hit level 16 and done situation. While a few evolve by level alone, most have additional requirements. You might need to be in a specific environment or weather, complete certain quests, win battle challenges, or even have particular natures and personalities. At first, I'll be honest, I found it a little tedious. I just wanted my cool new form right away. It's the strongest form after all, right? But the more I engaged with it, the more I realised how much it deepened my understanding of each species. You learn what makes them tick, what environments they thrive in, what kind of personality suits them. It adds a layer of connection, instead of evolution just being a checkbox. And by the end of the beta, I really appreciated it a lot. It just brought more of them to life. The world itself also feels alive in a way I was not expecting, and it really kept me wanting to explore. Wild Aniimo don't just stand around waiting to be caught. You can see them from a distance, and they're interacting with each other. Yes, they have set patterns, and you can usually follow those patterns, but not always. They interact with each other, they react to the environment, they even react to you. One of my favourite touches, if you twine with an Aniimo, which is basically merging with it. That's one of the key details of this game that's different from others. But if you twine with an Aniimo and you approach the wild Aniimo of the same species, they'll interact with you differently. It's such a small detail, but it makes the ecosystem feel believable. Many of the quests in the game are actually obtained from the Aniimo themselves, and you can even get to enjoy just listening to their conversations. It generally feels like you're stepping into a living world rather than just running around from spawn points to spawn points. Some areas did feel empty, but these were very few compared to what I was expecting from a beta. The map itself is large with a good amount of nice quick spawn points you can get to. Weather also affects some of the spawn conditions for the Animo, as does the time of day, which you can adjust on the fly. Not only that, but exploring with the right sort of Animo twined will let you go through areas that are normally too high level for you, and you can get around the map unimpeded by wild Animo, which is particularly useful if you're trying to unlock those spawn points. Now here's something important, I am not usually an action gamer. Turn-based games or games where I can sort of pause and assess the action, they are my comfort zone. That's where I feel at home. But the combat in Animo, it's surprisingly fluid and easy to get into. Whether you are on the sidelines, giving your Animo extra support, or if you twine with the Animo and are fighting yourself. And especially in this open world, it's very accessible. Dodging and the abilities feel responsive, and if you bite off more you can chew, it's usually pretty easy to disengage and escape. Bosses and challenge modes though, different story. Those ramp up in difficulty significantly. If you want to take on higher difficulties, you will need to build up specific teams, optimize stats, craft gear, and use supportive items strategically. The good thing is, you don't have to do the hardest content in order to enjoy the game. The challenge modes are there if you want them, but they are not a wall blocking your progress. The world bosses are also easier to tackle when you bring along some friends to help you, so never worry if you need to call for support. Now let's address the elephant in the room. This is going to be a free-to-play game, and I know for a lot of people that immediately raises red flags. We've all been burned before by predatory systems and aggressive gacha mechanics. There are no guarantees in life obviously, and things can always change, but from my experience in this beta, and from what the dev team have been communicating and showing with their actions, they are very aware that people do not want predatory monetization. They seem to understand that the gacha systems that feel unfair or pay to win would kill goodwill instantly. And with all of the work and care they've been putting into this game, they want a franchise, not a quick cash grab. So I have faith. Right now the focus appears to be on cosmetics and monetization that doesn't directly impact gameplay. How that plays out long term, we'll have to see. That said, they have a lot of cosmetic infrastructure in place, from the look of the RVs, your home away from home, to your character cosmetics and even your Animo's cosmetics. They have a lot of visual bling that they can use to let players show off their style, and we all know how much players will put into a game just to look cool. At the end of the day, free to play also means free to try, and based on the beta I will absolutely be trying the full version of the game. Overall, I walked away from the second Aniimo beta generally impressed. The catching loop feels meaningful, the world feels alive, evolution and the stories are deeper than ever before, and combat is accessible but can scale to a real challenge. And most importantly, I had fun. Like, consistently had fun. I've not even talked about the homeland area where you farm and craft, the events such as fashion shows and new mini islands opening up, or how there are new continents you can see from the world map but you couldn't get into in the beta, the puzzle shrines, and the main hub area where you can shop and meet other pathfinders. There is a lot to cover, and this review would go on for ages if I tried to. If this is the direction the game continues in, I'm really excited to start my journey again, and when the game releases on PC, Steam, Xbox and mobile this summer, we don't have an exact date yet and it could change, but they're aiming for July to September date, somewhere around there. I know I can't wait to be reunited with Cradell, who I got to save from the beta and will get to meet back up with again. Let me know in the comments what you think, especially if you were in the beta as well. And if you're on the fence, I'd say keep an eye on this one. Thanks for watching. See you all soon. Bye!